Hi everyone, Renee here today. I am working on the Every Little Thing card making workshop. This particular workshop, this is our new redesigned workshops. I love them. It makes a total of 16 cards. You get to make 4 of each of the 4 different cards. And it comes with not only a stamp set that is exclusive to this kit, it also comes with the die cuts. This is amazing. I'm loving this. So today it calls for Julep and Wisteria. It also calls for Intense Black. However, my Intense Black has walked away on its own. I don't know where it went. So I can't use the regular black because it's a dye-based, which means that it will smear with water. So I need to use something that is waterproof. Our archival black and our Intense Black are waterproof and are good for watercoloring. So I'm going to use archival black. Archival black is a solvent based and it takes a little bit longer for it to dry. It will also stain your stamps, but it's no big deal. It won't harm your stamps. So I am going to go ahead and get started. This kit comes with everything you need except for the inks and your adhesive. I'm going to use ATG today and probably some of the Zig. You'll also need some sort of a paintbrush. I'm using our water brush, really simple to use. And so I've got a paper towel because we're going to do some painting with our dye inks to make these butterflies. So I think this will be really fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on some music for you and hope you enjoy. I will also show you, before I forget, you'll see me doing this. Whenever I have die cuts, what I like to do, and I probably won't use these purple ones, what I like to do is keep the negative of my shape that I die cut, and then I put the negative in my Misty. I love, love, love the Misty. Put it in the Misty and then just keep it in place with my magnets. Be careful and don't let these magnets hit each other. And then what I do is I take, let's see, which one has the bigger of the butterflies. Let's see. So we're gonna start with number 1. And number 1, let's see, number 2 actually has the bigger butterfly. So let's go ahead and grab the bigger butterfly. So what I do is I put my butterfly inside and nest it in there, okay? So now what I can do is I can take the stamp. Now these are new stamps. I haven't used them yet. Usually I do olives ahead of time, but I wanted to show you all how I do this. So you just want to rub it on your skin, get it all ready to go, and then take off your big butterfly. And then what I do is I line it up with what I'm going to stamp. And sometimes it's easier to line it up. I forgot about that. It's been a while since I've done this. I learned this from, I'm trying to remember who it is that I've seen do this. Might be Amy Rice Savvy that does this. So there you go, line that up. No, you know what Amy Rice Savvy does is she stamps, does she stamp everything? She likes to leave her dies put together. Our dies you don't have to take our dies apart. They come completely separate from each other, but there are some companies that leave their dies together. They're attached to each other, and she die cuts everything at one time with them all attached. So here, let me show you how I do this. And I forgot to go get my stamp chamois, so I'm gonna have to do that. I'll wait until I put y'all on some music, and then I'll go run and get my stamp chamois. It's in the bathroom. I'm loving the stamp chamois. Okay, so we'll get this all wet with ink, and this will give you a really nice dark ink. Now, it does take a little bit longer to dry. I may have to stamp this twice, we'll see. And pull that off of there. Yep, I need to stamp it again, but as you'll see, it's stamped perfect. Oh, I didn't let it dry. Oh, that's too bad. Well, you know what? We're gonna leave it because I'm gonna be watercoloring this, so I think that little bit of a smear won't really show. I don't think it'll be that big of a deal. That's the other thing. Be really careful when you're using archival black. It takes a little bit of time to dry. So I will go ahead and show you this. And then we'll pop that off. Oh, that looks much better. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab it with my tweezers and do this a little bit, get it to dry, okay? So that's how I do any die cuts. We've also got tags and some banners on this one, so I'm gonna do them the same way. Just pop them into the die, into the negative space of the die, and then when you stamp them, as you can see, it's perfectly aligned. I think it is so much easier to line your cut dies this way than it is to stamp first and then cut them out. It seems like my dies, even if I use washi, I use a magnetic board, they move on me. So this is how I do it. So I am going to go get my chamois and I will be back. So I'm gonna stop you for just a minute. Okay, something additional that came along while I was getting things ready to go on this kit was I found that one of the cards uses a partial die cut and then inlays the stamped butterfly inside that partial die cut. So what I'm going to show you is how to do the partial die cut, and then I'm going to get this off my desk, pull my MISTI back over and show you how to do that. I've gone ahead and off camera I stamped all of those pieces that I showed you earlier using that inlay die technique. So those are already done. So this one uses the large butterfly out of the die set. So we'll take that out. And then in the instructions, it shows you to go down 2 1/4 and in 2 1/2 from the edge of the paper. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the paper and I'm gonna do that measurement. So let me get this out of the way real quick so I can show you how to do that. I'm gonna do that measurement on all 4 of my pieces, and I'm just gonna mark it with a pencil. You can always erase the pencil later if it shows. So what we want is we want to make sure that we see, because we're going to cut right here. So look at your paper and kind of pick out what part you want to still show after you do your cutting. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down 2 1/4. So that's a quarter already, and then 1 and 2. So we're going to be right at this line right here. So I'll put a pencil line right there. And then we want to go in from the edge 2 1/2. We're already at 1/2, so 1, 2 1/2. That is right there. Is that right? Yep, 2 1/2 will be right there. So 2 1/2 inches in. So we're going to put another little pencil line, just kind of eyeball where you're going to put the pencil line. And then what it says here at the bottom is to put it 7/8 of an inch up from the bottom here. So, oops, it's stuck. Let's do that. So we're going to do 7/8, which is, my board only has 1/4 inch, so you just take between 3/4 and 1 inch and cut that in half, and that'll be 7/8. And then we'll make another little mark right here. And I am going to grab my glasses. I don't use my glasses a whole lot, but for this I will need them so that I can see all my little marks. Okay, so all my little marks are there. And then I'm going to do those same marks on all 4 pieces. Again, make sure that you're putting the part that you want showing over here so that you can make sure that that pretty part shows. Okay, so we'll put this right here. And we're doing a mark 2 1/4 down, so that'll be right here. That one will be easy to see. Then we're doing one that's 7/8 inch up from the bottom, so that's going to be halfway between there and there. And then we want to use our T ruler And we're gonna do 2.5 in. This is 3.5, so that's gonna be at 1. And let's get this straight. There we go. And we're just gonna eyeball it, kind of put it in the middle here. Okay, let's see, which one did I already do? See, it's a good thing I put those glasses on. I can see which ones I've already done. Okay, so 7/8. 2.5, 2.25 from the top. So for this, it's going to be at the 3 mark, and then just eyeball kind of in the center for 1. And the last one. See, it goes much faster once you do the first one. Once you do the first one, you kind of know what you're doing. So 3 and 7/8. And we'll do this one on 1, kind of in the middle between all of those. Okay, so we've got all of our marks. So we're gonna pull the the die cut machine back up. I just use a Sizzix, I think it's a Big Shot, I think is the name of it. Not even 100% positive. It is older than the Hills, but you know, I don't know if I shared this before, but I bought a Big Shot Plus, I think is what it is. It's the really big one. And I truthfully think that this cuts better than the old one did. I mean, this old one cuts better tdie new one. So I'm going to use some washi tape. I do have a magnetic platform, but your plates will tend to warp. This is totally normal. I don't know if you can see how it's warped. That's totally normal. So what I do is I just flip this one over. So I'll just flip it over and keep using it. And I always keep my top plate without any cuts on it. And then when this gets really bad, I will start using this for cut plate and get another top plate. Okay, so let's find our marks. Yeah, this is why we need the glasses. Okay, there's 1, there's 2, and there's the 3rd one. So what we want to do is we want to set our butterfly so that this wing touches that part, this wing touches that part, and that wing touches that part. Okay, that looks pretty good. So we're going to get a piece of washi tape just to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. And I just use cheap old washi tape that I don't really like very much the design on. And I put it on my hand just so it doesn't tear my paper. It'll hold good enough. And I only put it on the edge of the die. I don't put it in the middle part. Okay, so let's put this on and run it through. And let's see how we did. And that crunching, if you're new at die cutting, sometimes they will sound like they are tearing, that they're breaking everything in sight. That is absolutely normal. Don't worry about it. Okay, so that is what our partial die cut will look like. So we'll go ahead and pull this washi tape off. If I can get it off. Oh, darn it. Let's see. You know what's good for that is your Cricut spatula. Just make sure it doesn't have any adhesive on it. And you can get under the edge of things. And then when you pull the tape off, pull it along itself. Don't pull straight up. So you'll pull it, let me show you. You'll pull it, oops, it's tore my paper a little tiny bit, but you won't be able to see that. It's really tiny. Okay, so there's our partial die cut. And then take your die off of there, and you can just throw this little piece away. You don't need it. Okay, so we'll do the next one. Again, find our marks. There are our marks. We want that tip on there, that tip on there. And if you're a little bit off, it's really no big deal. Every card will be a little bit different, and I'll show you that when we're doing the stamping, because we're going to do each one, we're going to stamp them separately. Now this one I did not put the tape on because I didn't want to take the chance of tearing it again. So I just kept my fingers crossed that it would stay where I put it, and it did. So this magnetic platform, I really do like it. I've had it a really long time, and it still works exactly the same as it did when it was new. So there we go. Take that piece out, we don't need it. And do the next one. Find our marks. And if this is boring anybody, just speed past it. I'm fine with that. It won't hurt my feelings. I just want to make sure that anyone who hasn't done this before, that they get a few times to see me do it. Because I remember when I first started using a die cutter and I was kind of lost, and oh my gosh, when it cracked and made all that noise, I thought I broke it. Okay, so here's the last one. Get those lined up. Get that lined up. Put the top plate on and run it through. And here we go. And you heard the cracking. Totally normal. And actually, it'll crack a whole lot more with new cutting pads, which I just replaced my cutting pads last week. So these are brand new. And all those cuts and everything that you see in there, that's absolutely normal. Okay, so we got that part done. So we'll put this away. And we're done with that. And then we'll bring our MISTI in. Okay, so if you look at, here's our pieces. If you look at how this is done, this butterfly is stamped on this piece of paper. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to grab that piece of paper. It's 1A, and this is wisteria. Now our cardstock has two sides, a dark side and a light side, and you can see the difference there. This calls for the light side, so we're going to flip these all over so we can make sure that we are stamping on the correct side. So we're going to do the light side. Okay, so one thing and another thing I want to show you that I'm doing differently, where's the stamp set? I have so much stuff on my desk that I can't find things. So, oh, here it is. Okay, so in this stamp set, you'll see that there are these little dots. What the pattern has you do is stamp those dots over and over and over down the side. Well, I am extremely horrible at that sort of thing. So what I do is I look in my stamp sets and see, do I have something else that would work? So the first thing I thought of was, this is one of our new stamp sets called Build-A-Plaid, and I'm going to be doing some stuff for you on that one to show you. And I kind of thought about using this, and I kind of thought about using the dotted lines, but I really like the look of polka dots with flowers and butterflies. It seems cohesive. Whereas if I did some lines or dashes or something like that, it wouldn't look quite the same. There are some dots, but I didn't want to try to line them up, and that would end up looking too uniform rather than polka dot. So what I did was I keep all of my stamp sets organized in Evernote, and if you are curious about Evernote, I have a video way down in my video list that I put together to show you how I use Evernote. So what I did was I went into Evernote and I typed in polka dot, and it brought up several stamps, but it brought up this one. This is an old stamp set from 2017. We had an event called Stampaganza, and they had word puzzles for every month. So this is February's. Well, February's has this wonderful polka dot border on it. So I'm going to use that. It's a little bit smaller than the border it calls for, but I think it'll still look nice. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, when you have a stamp that you're going to stamp all the way off the edge of your paper in the MISTI, if you don't have the MISTI corners, it's a good idea just to put a magnet, something there, just so that you can get a border, so that when you stamp, it will go all the way to the edge, because sometimes when you try to stamp too close to the edge, it doesn't come out right. So I'm just gonna lay this on here, and I've used this stamp before, so it is well seasoned and is not sticking where I don't want it to stick. So I'm gonna do that right there. I looked on the instructions, and it says that this is a 1/2 inch wide. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at, okay, here's 1/2 inch. So I'm gonna put it right dead in the middle of that 1/2 inch. So I have probably an 1/8 or a 1/16 of an inch on each side that doesn't have the polka dot, but I think it'll look nice this way. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my other magnet there to hold my paper down. And oh, you can see that I forgot to clean this completely. I'll get my stamp chamois here and give that a wipe too, just in case there's something on it, and I need to put some more water on that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp this with wisteria. We're doing a tone on tone for this polka dot. So I'll just show you how I do that. So, and the other good thing about the Misty that I really like is if for some reason it doesn't stamp perfectly, I can stamp it again. So that's why I'm making sure that my paper is exactly flush against the side. But I'm going to try to get it right the first time. Okay. So we will stamp that down, push it real good. Kind of looks like maybe I didn't get enough ink up here at the top, so we may have to do it again. Oh no, it worked out great. And I think that looks really good. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp the others. Again, just switch past this real fast if this is boring for you. When I put all the cards together, I'll do my normal process where I speed it up for you so you can put some music on. So you can just watch me put them together, because that's pretty simple once you get past these little things. So we'll do one more. That looks good. I'm really liking how that looks. I think that'll look nice. It's not as big as the polka dot that comes with the stamp set, but again, I am just so bad about lining up those little stamps. If you have that talent, more power to you. You know, we're not all good at everything, so it's good to know where your limits are. And there's an easy workaround for this limit. So put my last piece in, put my ink on, and then I'm going to show you how to do the inlay of that butterfly after we get this one done. And the butterfly is also done with the wisteria ink, so it's also tone on tone. Okay, that looks great. So we will go ahead and I'll clean up the stamp. And for those of you who are new to the stamp chamois, it will look pretty bad, but it works fine. Don't worry about it. So nothing comes off on your other stamps when you're cleaning them, and you don't need anything but water. Don't worry about any other kind of, and this, I just keep mine either a coffee mug, or this is just a little tea light cup. I know that Jennifer McGuire uses one, and she found this really cute silicone thing. I think she says it's called a salt keeper, and I have not been able to find one, so I just use what I've got. So again, this is a stamp set that's retired, D1269 February word puzzle from Stampganza 2017. Just in case you've fallen in love with it, you might be able to find it on eBay or Etsy, or leave me a message and I'll see if one of my fellow consultants has an extra. This one's mine and I really love it, so I'm not going to be selling this one. I do have some other stamp sets that I might be getting rid of soon. I'll let y'all know. Okay, so we don't need those anymore. So we're going to put this down. Then what we're going to do is we're going to put down, and then once we stamp these guys need to stay together, because the stamp is only going to be right for this one. Okay, so we will let's put this away before we lose it. Those little dies can find their way all over the place. Okay, So here we are, and from before you saw that I used our archival black ink, so it did stain this stamp. There is a StazOn cleaner that'll get it a little bit cleaner, but I don't really mind because it doesn't come off on anything. I mean, you can see I'm pushing it all over my hands. It's not coming off. So what we want to do is we want to inlay this stamp. Make sure our paper stays still. I think let's go ahead and put a magnet on here. We want to inlay this stamp in that space that we cut with our die. So put those on there. So we will stick that down. And then we will get our wisteria ink. Get it real inky. And stamp it down. Okay, it needs a little bit more on that wing. So we're gonna do it one more time, and we're gonna make sure that we squish down on that wing really good. Now, because I've gotten some ink on the background here, you can see it, I'm gonna wipe that off because I don't want that to transfer to my card. Okay, so make sure that we're all in the corners, and we are, and we're gonna push really good on that wing and make sure we get the ink on that this time. Okay, I think that looks great. Okay, so that's our first one. Now we need to make sure that these stay together because these are going to be, and let me look, you know, I think we can go ahead and glue, we're going to go ahead and glue this down real quick so that we don't get them mixed up. So, excuse that sound. I hit a button on my phone. It started making a ringing sound. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue this down. Okay, so we want to make sure that we get it right on this edge. Okay, that looks good. Now we can trim that. See how I didn't cut it quite exact? So we can trim that little guy. So I think what I'll do is I will show you one more. So see how that looks? That looks really nice. I like how that turns out. That's a really nice design that someone put together. So I'm going to go ahead and this time I'm going to glue it down before I stamp it. And I'll show you one more, and then the rest I will do as part of the process video so you don't have to sit and listen to me yabber. You can listen to some, you know, legal music from YouTube. I really need to find some different music sources. So if any of you who watch me make videos and you have some good music sources for good royalty-free free music that I can use, let me know down in the comments section. Okay, there's that, and there's that. And we'll do this one together, and then, like I said, I'm going to turn on some music, and you can do the process video. So what you have to do now, because we don't know that this is in the exact same spot as the last one was, is we need to clean our stamp really good. So clean your stamp real good. Make sure nothing comes off. We're good. We're going to lift it up again, and we're going to place it. I'm going to inlay it in that die cut area. Okay, so there we go. There. Whoa! You know what? I did it backwards. Silly me. I'm glad I noticed that. You know, you can do that if, let's say you want to use these butterfly stamps, but you don't want to color them in, but you do want them to have color. You can do that. You can stamp the back of the stamp, and that'll give you a solid, and then turn the stamp around, and stamp the other side, and then you'll get your lines. So that's a way to color your stamps without actually coloring them. You can also do a fun watercolor technique on the back of them that way. Put a little bit of ink and then spritz it with water. Now make sure if you're doing that you're using some watercolor paper, because if you just use regular cardstock, it's going to fold and get all ugly on you. Okay, we'll make sure we push those wings, because we know those wings are a little bit difficult. And looky there, that turned out great too. So, okay, well, I'm going to turn on some music and get to putting together these cards, and then I'll be back at the end to fill you in on anything else that I think you need to know. And also to save time, since we've done so much tutorial in this video, I'm just going to put together one of each of the cards. Keep in mind that the cards do make, the kit does make 4 of each card for a total of 16 cards. So, but I'm only going to do 1 of each. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the music. Okay, so here are the 4 cards. I think these are beautiful. I really do. I messed this one up. This was supposed to be stamped in julep, and I stamped them all in wisteria. But you know what? I think it works. I think it works. I think it sets off the jewels pretty good. So here are the 4 cards. This one was kind of fun with the triple layer. You could use the glue dots underneath the purple layer as well if you liked. I kind of wanted to keep it a little bit less bulky, I guess, but I don't really think it would have added that much bulk, so I think you could have done it. And this is the one that we did together, and then this one has a purple underneath it. And you saw how I did the background stamping to create our own paper that coordinates. It's really easy to do. Just if you kind of keep in mind triangles, keep your stuff in triangles, have some of your things go off the paper, it'll look a lot nicer. That's really, you know, the only real tips other than just do it, be confident, and just do it. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you are interested in this kit or have any questions about this kit, just leave me a message down below. I'd love to hear from you. And if the technique tutorials helped you, let me know, and I'll do more of those in the future. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.